Good morning, everybody. Guess what we got today? Mercedes-Benz ML270 with a problem, fixed by the way. Hey Money, come over here. Go and start that car. Bye. Good morning, by the way.
Morning.
Watch this baby start up. Woo! It goes! It's alive!
Starts soon.
It starts! Well. Guess what? This is one of those problems when you're flipping happy when you get to the end of it. One of those teasing little things you just can't find the answer to. It's not straightforward. And the problem is, ML270 is not the type of vehicle I'm used to working on. Mondeos has been my thing for many years. So I know it's just a car and it's another diesel, but there's different things bolted onto these engines to make them work, and different systems and God knows what. And I guess a guy from Mercedes would have probably looked at this and he would have said, that's what the problem is. He'd have probably known straight away. Anyway, I'm going to tell you what was wrong with this. It's fixed now, but I'm going to tell you was wrong, and how we fixed it. A little bit long-winded, but we got there in the end. It's a warranty job anyway, so it had to be done, because one of the vehicles we sold a little while ago. But basically, in the morning, stone cold, you crank the engine over, and no word of a lie, it'd crank over about 40, 50 times before the engine fired up. And once you got to sort of like cranking over, it would seem like forever, it would then start coughing and spluttering, and then it'd fire up, and it would run. You could just then jump in it, drive it around for the rest of the day, and it'd be as right as rain. Nothing wrong with it. You could then stop it, leave it for a couple of hours, go back to it, it'd still start up pretty much fine on your way. But leave it overnight for like 12 hours, go back to it in the morning, and it was back to the same old story, cranking and eventually started up. I will say one thing for it, it's got a bloody good battery on it, because it didn't go flat. But anyway, there was no real codes in the ECU to even go by. So we were pretty much, but we kind of thought this is a fuel problem. It was almost as if the diesel was like running back overnight. Now I've had this before on the Mark IV Mondeo 2 litre diesels. I've had this 3 or 4 times now. The little seals on the leak-off pipes where they push into the injectors, they can get perished and they all damaged. And then if you leave a car for like a day or 2 or something like that, the car will crank over and over and over, and it either won't start and you have to bleed the fuel system, or it will start after much cranking. And I thought, let's have a look at the leak-off pipe seals, and then realised this had a leaking injector a while back, you know, the Black Death and all that. So it had a brand new set of leak-off pipes on it, so we checked them anyway, and they're all fine. So we kind of eliminated that. So then we thought, right, fuel filter is like the first thing to go for. Bung a new fuel filter on it, didn't cure it. We had a look at the fuel system, the pipes and everything looked fine. But I will say, the little clear pipe that you can see on the engine, I'll just show it on the picture now, that was leaking a little bit. There was a tiny bit of like diesel coming out of that, so we replaced that pipe, thinking that maybe the air leak and air's getting in when the car's sat and the diesel's running back. Didn't cure it. But then when we put the scanner onto it and we started measuring the fuel pressure, it was reading like, from first thing in the morning, it would read like 350, 400 pounds per square inch. You'd be cranking it, and that's from like 400 psi, it would slowly go up as you were cranking it. And when it reached about 1800 psi, it would start coughing and firing. And then by around about 2000 psi, it would start up, and then boom, it went straight up to 4,500 RPM, and it was running fine. Sorry, 4,500 psi. and it was running fine. So I kind of thought to myself, I don't really get this. Maybe the high pressure pump, because what I don't understand is, I'm not really up with this, but what I don't understand is the high pressure pump puts the high pressure fuel from the pump to the injectors. That wasn't doing that first thing in the morning. It was taking ages for the pressure to go up. So I thought, looking at the pump, it looks kind of similar to what we had in one of them combi van a while back, which were bloody rubbish injection pumps. So we got another high pressure pump, put it on, thinking that would cure it. It didn't. Made no difference whatsoever. So we're scratching our heads. And then I just thought to myself, has this vehicle got an electric pump in the tank? We checked into it and it hasn't. It's only got a sender unit for the fuel gauge. And then we're looking at videos on YouTube, you know, seeing if anyone else has got an answer. But nope, there's one guy showing, he's got the sender unit out, showing could there be a crack in the pipe, in the pickup pipe in the tank? And I thought, yeah, it's possible, but it's like, it's something I've never actually seen or come across. And I guess it can happen, but pretty rare, I reckon. But then, just out of like, I don't know, the high pressure pump which bolts straight onto the camshaft on this engine, the fuel pipes that come out of it go onto another little unit. I'm going to show you this in a minute because I've taken it apart. But it's another little unit, and I said, what the hell is that? Because I didn't know, it's not. I've got a Vito 109 CDI with a 4-cylinder engine, diesel, same sort of engine as this, although this is the 5-cylinder engine. So my Vito's got a high pressure pump and it's got an electric pump in the tank. This engine hasn't got an electric pump in the tank, but it's got this other little unit bolted to the other camshaft. And it's right standing in front of you, and I'm like, what the hell is it? There's fuel pipes going into it, what does it do? When we looked into it, it turns out it's another little pump. It's like a little primer pump. I guess it kind of takes the place of an electric pump, although it's a mechanical one and it's bolted to the bloody camshaft. So the fuel comes from the fuel filter into this tiny little pump. It gets pumped through this pump straight into the main high pressure pump and then through to the injectors. So we thought, we've got nothing to lose, let's get one. It was like £140, it weren't even that dear. We got it, bolted it on. It was an absolute ass to bleed the fuel through, I must say. But once we got it started, we give it a run round, parked it up, left it about 2 hours, went back to it and started it. It fired up on the button. So we thought, oh, this sounds promising. So we left it outside overnight. In the morning, come to it, cranked it over, bingo, it was up and running. Unbelievable. The only thing is, as I'm going to show you with this pump, I'm not 100% sure what was wrong with the pump, and I'll sort of like, I'll tell you why. Let me show you this pump, then you'll kind of understand what I'm talking about. Okay, here it is. I put some gloves on because God forbid I'd get my hands dirty. But anyway, this is it. I think I actually said something wrong earlier on. The actual high pressure pump is just below this pump. So the high pressure pump isn't bolted directly onto the camshaft, it's onto like a dog drive below the camshaft. It's a bit like this anyway, so you can't get it wrong. It's just like this will unbolt, however many bolts it is, 3 or 4 bolts. I think it's 4 bolts hold this onto the engine, and it dogs straight onto the camshaft, and you've got an oil seal there to stop it leaking. And that's it. But I took the back cover off, unbolted that, and lo and behold, what do you have? 2 little cogs. So fuel from the fuel filter will come into this bottom pipe here. The engine will then spin over and it will turn them cogs and suck the fuel through and through the pump, and then deliver it out of this pipe here straight into the main high pressure pump. The moment I took this off, I was expecting to see something horrific, something broken, chewed up, God only knows what. Beijing Biden hiding in here, who knows. Anyway, let me pull this out, if it will come out. There we go. Right. Upon analysis of looking at these little cogs, I can't see nothing wrong with them. They look absolutely perfectly fine. I can't see nothing wrong in here. But what I did notice, which I think is probably what's wrong with this, and it's probably not these cogs at all. It's probably, if I can get this closer, just close enough so you might be able to see it. See this seal, this rubber seal, just here, I think it's this side. Yeah, it dips down, like the rubber has become flat just along this edge here. And I'm thinking, maybe, just maybe, air has been getting in here. I didn't actually see any diesel dripping off this, but maybe air has been getting past this seal where it's become flattened. Actual fact, round this side it's just as bad, just along this long edge. And I think, like I say, air's probably been getting in here, and overnight the diesel's been running back, if you know what I mean. And so when you need to, I could be totally wrong here. It could be something to do with this, but I don't know. I just cannot physically see anything wrong with this pump. But the seal does look suspect. Even there at the corner, it's completely flattened. So I'd assume, I mean, a lot of the thermostat housings on the Mark V Mondeos, they piss out coolant when these seals get flattened. So I can imagine air will be getting sucked in there and making the diesel run back towards the tank. So that's my theory, that all it is a seal. I didn't know that, obviously. We put a new pump on it, but I don't care. It's fixed. But yeah, never in all my days have I seen one of these pumps on an engine until I looked at this Merc. So you learn something new every day, didn't you? Well, there you go. That was a useless piece of information for you, wasn't it? But there again, you never know. One day, somebody else may have a ML270 or that particular engine playing up with the same problem. I should imagine, I mean, it's quite an old vehicle now. So, I mean, what was it, 2006? It's getting on a bit. So, I should imagine that does happen a fair old bit. But there again, I don't work on Mercedes, so what do I know? Anyway, there's one place for this. Yeah! In the scrap metal pile. Done. Well, folks, thanks for watching. It's been great. I've now got a clutch to do on a Mark V Mondeo, believe it or not. But yeah, if I find anything interesting, quirky, or I don't know, anything worth talking about, if I've got the time, because it's been pretty busy up lately, but if I do get the time and find interesting shit, I'll try and put it out. So anyway, I'll crack on. So till the next time, guys, see you later. Adios.